Over the past few days, something happened in the business world that most people treated as just another corporate headline. But if you look closely, it may have massive geopolitical consequences. Elon Musk announced that he is merging two of his biggest companies, SpaceX and XAI, creating what could become the most powerful private technology company in the world. The valuation? Over $1.2 trillion. That's not just impressive. That's strategic. And this isn't only about business. It's not just about valuation. It's not just about a potential IPO. This move touches geopolitics, astropolitics, artificial intelligence, energy, and the future balance of power between the United States and China. When you combine space dominance with artificial intelligence, you're not just building a company, you're reshaping the chessboard. Now, it's no secret that Elon Musk operates in industries that shape global power: space, communications, electric vehicles, AI. These aren't just markets, they're strategic sectors. And in the space domain specifically, Musk is already the most powerful individual actor in the world. SpaceX has launched more satellites into orbit than most governments combined. Starlink alone has created a global communications network that has already influenced military conflicts and geopolitical negotiations. Think about that for a second. Governments now negotiate with a private individual about satellite access during wartime. That alone tells you something about how power is shifting. Space has always been strategic. For centuries, geopolitical thinkers argued that whoever controls the seas controls global trade. Others argued that whoever controls the heartland controls continents. Then came the idea that whoever controls space controls Earth. That's astropolitics, the geopolitics of orbit. And Musk is sitting right in the center of that arena. Now here's where it gets interesting. Artificial intelligence is currently the most important technological race in the world. The United States and China are competing to dominate AI infrastructure. But AI has a massive bottleneck: energy. Data centers consume enormous amounts of power. Without massive energy production, AI cannot scale. And the speed at which AI is advancing is much faster than the speed at which new power plants can be built. This is the hidden constraint. You can't build hydroelectric dams overnight. You can't open new nuclear plants instantly. Natural gas infrastructure takes years. Meanwhile, AI models require exponentially increasing computational power. So what is the ultimate energy source in our solar system? The sun. The sun produces incomprehensible amounts of energy every second. The problem is that by the time solar radiation reaches Earth, it's filtered, scattered, interrupted by atmosphere, clouds, seasons, and day-night cycles. What arrives on Earth is only a tiny fraction of the sun's total output. But in space, above the atmosphere, solar energy is constant. No night, no clouds, no weather, just continuous radiation. For decades, scientists have discussed the idea of space-based solar power, placing solar panels in orbit and transmitting energy back to Earth via microwaves or laser beams. The main obstacle has always been cost. Launching heavy infrastructure into orbit is expensive. And who has been revolutionizing launch costs? SpaceX. Reusable rockets change the economics of orbit. Instead of discarding a rocket after one launch, Musk turned rockets into something closer to airplanes: reusable platforms. The Falcon rockets already land themselves. Starship, once fully operational, aims to dramatically reduce the cost per kilogram to orbit. Currently, launching cargo to space costs thousands of dollars per kilogram. Musk wants to reduce that to hundreds. When that happens, building massive solar arrays in space becomes economically viable. But here's the real twist. Instead of just transmitting that energy back to Earth, Musk's deeper move appears to be placing data centers directly in orbit. Think about that. AI infrastructure powered by continuous solar energy in space. No terrestrial grid limitations, no cooling bottlenecks, because in space, thermal dissipation is entirely different. The vacuum environment actually simplifies certain aspects of cooling advanced semiconductor systems. This changes the equation entirely. Rather than fighting over energy grids on Earth, you bypass the bottleneck altogether. And when you merge SpaceX with XAI, you're integrating space transport, orbital infrastructure, satellite networks, energy generation, and AI computation into one vertically integrated ecosystem. That's not just innovation, that's strategic integration. Historically, space programs were controlled by governments, NASA, Roscosmos, CNSA in China, state-controlled entities. But private companies operate under a different logic: speed, iteration, risk tolerance, capital markets, competition. That dynamic has already given the United States an edge over China in both tech and space sectors. Chinese state space programs still face higher launch costs. Their innovation cycles are slower. Their private sector isn't fully independent from state oversight in the same way American firms are. This is where geopolitics enters the story. 25 years ago, geopolitical analyst George Friedman wrote that American dominance in the 21st century would depend on control of advanced energy systems, including space-based solar energy. At the time, that sounded futuristic. But today, combine that with AI dominance, and the picture becomes clearer. Artificial intelligence requires massive computational power. Computational power requires energy. Space offers unlimited solar energy. SpaceX reduces launch costs. XAI consumes energy. Merge them, and suddenly the bottleneck disappears. And then there's the IPO dimension. XAI burns capital aggressively. So does OpenAI. AI infrastructure is expensive. But by integrating energy production and orbital infrastructure into the equation, Musk could change the cost structure entirely. That gives him leverage over competitors like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, and others, all of whom still depend on terrestrial energy grids. If SpaceX goes public after merging with XAI, it could become the largest IPO in history, not just because of valuation, but because of strategic positioning. We are watching something rare: the convergence of artificial intelligence, energy, space infrastructure, and private capital, all under one entity. That's why this isn't just a business story. It's a geopolitical move. If it works, it strengthens American technological dominance in both AI and space. If it fails, it becomes one of the most ambitious experiments in modern industrial history. Either way, this is not just about Elon Musk. It's about the future architecture of global power. And we are watching it happen in real time.